Becca, all right. I'm just testing here if my chat works. My this tool for chat works. Okay, good. You're there, so it means it works. Let me just see what can I do here. Okay, never mind. I'll just do this. I'll do this and this. And hey, good to see you. Thank you very much for coming. I always like when you're here. You're very fun, always. No, this is not what I wanted. I wanted this. Just the chat that I can read. How do I do this? Nice. Thank you very much again. Like, you literally made me come back and stream. So thank you for that as well. Sometimes one just needs a bit of a reminder, if you may. Okay, let me see. How is the lighting of my camera? I know it's a weird question, Rebecca, because it's really hard to. I have such an awesome camera, 4K and stuff, but it's kind of like, would you say it's awesome, or would you say it's like, nah? Actually, it doesn't really matter. I just want, since I have all this equipment, I just want to make sure at least it's worth. It was worth. Maybe a bit too dark. Okay. Actually, yeah. All right. So let's maybe fix that, because I mean I can fix that. Like, why is it dark? Give me 2 seconds and then we start coding. Yeah, but this is kind of weird now. It's too much. What about now? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should, like, give me 1 second. Maybe I should. Huh. Nah, that's weird. Give me 1 second. Yeah, give me. No, I have lights like right here, like these key lights. I mean, it's the best lights on the market. It's just I never put in the effort to you know, to make it fancy and stuff. I mean, who cares, right? It's just since I actually have it, it's kind of a shame not to set it up properly. No, I think yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be very much the placement as well, but I don't think so necessarily. Maybe actually, who the hell knows? But I think this is fine. I don't think this is disgusting. You say maybe it's too dark. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Or maybe it is. I see. Okay. Okay, give me 2 seconds and then we start hacking out. It is Ravaz, good evening, buddy. It is because it's not too light in my face, right? Because if you really want to illuminate it, it's kind of crazy. So, okay, cool. I actually agree. All right, awesome. Well, good evening again, I suppose. Let me just set up all of this crap so I can at least see you guys and chat to you. And then let's try switching here and yeah, let's get going. Let's get going today. So actually, the first thing I want to do is get rid of this crap, and then I'm gonna run this, and then we're gonna run cursor. I suppose music is not too loud or too like. I hope it's fine. Let me actually take a look. Oh, you don't hear any music? Really? Oh, interesting. Okay. Fuck, that's a. All right, that's a bummer. Give me a second. What? So there is no music. All right. I mean, I should have asked. I mean, people like my voice. I think you should hear it now, right? Can you hear it now? All right, I don't know. I have no idea. It should be there now. I'm kind of sending it to this WAD, or maybe not. Not now, was before. Okay. Shit. Rebecca, what about you? Can you hear anything? Because I think the problem is YouTube doesn't have a concept of WAD track and stuff, so... And every time I actually send... Yademil, good evening, buddy. How are you? Does anybody on Twitch hear any music? And then we can get started. I just need to know. Because on YouTube, true, there's no music on YouTube now, but I would expect it to be on Twitch. Let me actually open it up on my phone, and then I will know. Give me 2 seconds, and then we get started with coding. Wow, also what I've just noticed here now when I'm checking on my phone is that there's a lot of my microphone is picking up a lot of noise from my living room and stuff. That's crazy, man. Yeah, that's a bummer. Wait a minute. Okay. All right, give me a second. How is the sound now? Like my microphone sound? Is it fine? Is it too low? Light compressor, limiter. Yeah, let's see. I think it should be fine, I guess. Kinda quiet for me, okay? All right, what about now? I guess it's fine. Should be fine. Okay. Music loud. Okay. All right, let me see now. It kind of should be fine now, I suppose, right? All right, it's just I'm trying to... Yeah, okay, sure. I think this should be fine, right? Yeah, this has to be fine. This has to be fine. This has to be fine, I think. All right, let's see. Yeah, this should be fine, right? Okay, let's get started then. Let's get hacking then. I think this should be okay. Alrighty, cool. If it's not fine, you guys let me know, but I think it should be fine. Alrighty, so, well, good evening, everybody, those of you who joined. So today we're gonna continue. I'm going for a business trip on Sunday, so that's why I'm gonna try to stream a bit, maybe today, and then maybe one more time before I leave. Then I'm flying to Lisbon for 4 days, so next week I will not be here. Yeah, okay, so what we're gonna do today, I suppose, is we will continue where I left off last time, which was the meetup stuff, for those of you who were here, if you remember. And we did some stuff, and I didn't merge it yet. We made some migrations, and we created some queues using bullmq. Yeah, and essentially I think where we left off was inside of yeah, inside of this worker, right? So we were inside of this worker. I created some SendGrid templates. We're sending a template data. And if I actually, and let me actually do one thing. Can I pin? Give me 2 seconds. I need to do one thing. Let me just say web. Can I do website? Nice, nice. Okay, I'm gonna pin that. Manual, whatever. Great. And let's get back here. All right, so what we did last time I streamed, we created the template for the notification of the events, and we need to kind of finalize that. Now what? Cloudflare failed. That's weird. Let's see. Success. All right, that was weird. Continue, I suppose. And then I need to give it a 2-factor. All right, cool. And then let me just check where we stopped last time. I was here with you guys. So we went to here. And then we've created, I believe, this template, right? Yeah. Yeah, and then if we preview this and show test data, yeah. So this is kind of what we created. Okay, so what I'm actually gonna do just quickly and then move away from this crap. I actually don't care. But the only thing we need to do now, because I've changed the theme of programming network, is I'll actually go here, grab a new color, which is this one. And how can I actually get a hex color of that? Can I... How can I... Okay, LCH to hex. All right, that's what I'll do. And then I'll just replace all of this crap. And then we're done with that, I think. Update. Yeah. Preview. Yeah, that's more than good enough, I suppose, for now. The only thing I suppose we could still do is we could add like an, I think, do we have some programming network related image? Yeah, maybe something like that, or like this even, insert. Yeah. How can I make this smaller? 50. Actually, you know what? That sucks. Let's fuck that. Let's just move on. Okay, save this. So yeah, so let's close that up and let's go to the code now, to the API. And this is kind of, I think, where we left off last time. Yeah, this is kind of where we left off last. So, So we have a cron job here. And then what did we do in the UI locally? We yeah, and then we've added, let me actually go ahead and organize a new event. So test meetup. Sure. Events. What? Edit meetup. Okay, that's kind of dumb. Organize an event. This is a new event happening in 2 hours from now. Yes. We need to actually update this. There's some... Phil, my friend, good evening. Thank you very much for coming, man. How are you doing? How is life? All right, that's good. I'm sorry. This is yeah, okay. Okay, good. Screw that. Great. What did I want to do? Yeah. So what I wanted to actually do was optimize more of this this cron job, because we went with a cron and not with some event-based pub-sub like system, which is fine for now because this feature that isn't even released, let alone God knows if anybody is ever going to use this except me. So creating some bulletproof billion users scalable system would be ridiculous. What are you using in the backend? I'm using Fastify. I don't know if I actually have a stack. Yeah, there it is. There it is. The stack. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of partially still true. I think, yeah, this is for the... Besides that, I have my own Kubernetes cluster here. Actually, where is the webcam? So yeah, besides that, I have my own cluster. 1 second. So yeah, this is kind of my own home data center, if you may, and I actually I need to write commands for this so I don't repeat myself, but that is, if you want to see how I've done it, you can actually go there. You have the whole setup from networking to everything. Take a look at it, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, but this is our data center, has 4 mini PCs, 4 Raspberry Pis in a cluster, several hard drives, and then a bunch of networking equipment there. MikroTik, not Cisco in this case. Okay, cool. All right, let's continue. So meetup, yes. So let's say here a live stream, maybe. This is a live stream. Neki League, hey buddy. Thank you very much, man. I haven't been streaming in like months and months. And one of my viewers, Rebecca, she kind of incentivized me, said, man, you gotta stream again. And I was like, all right, I'll stream again. And well, here I am. I actually need to update this as well on site. So actually, these are tiny things, but you can see, like, if event type is live stream, location type shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, there's some inconsistencies here, you could say, but whatever. Let's say remote meeting link. Let's imagine this is our meeting link, my stream link, and capacity, like unlimited, whatever. Let's say 500, doesn't matter. But then you can see, because we have another JSON validator schema here, we can see that our schema actually is incorrect, and that sucks ass. So let's actually find that globally. And probably there is some sort of schema somewhere. Yeah, so let's take a look at the form. This is the library that I wrote for validation library. And then here we probably have the schema, yes. And you can see, so this is kind of one of the, you could say, a little bit unpleasant things when you're using JSON validation like this, AJV, another JSON validator case, is that, I mean, there's actually nothing bad with it per se, but you can see oftentimes when you need your validation to be conditional, you need to kind of almost write some sort of state inside of your like a JSON validation specification. So as you can see here, we're saying, hey, if the location type is on site, then location is required, which we, give me 1 second, meeting link, location, time zone. If location type remote, event URL should be a valid, yeah. So we have the format URI, and I wonder if that's it, because this is, yeah, I wonder if it's due to the formatter. Okay, let me try, because these are silly things, but they are bugs that we have to fix. Okay, well, actually that has worked. Yeah, it's this one, it's this event, right? Yeah. So 500 spots, remote event. So we join event link. Okay, so that's correct. So you can see it does take us basically to our stream URL. So that's good. That's good. So it's kind of good, but let me write that stuff down. Let's go to a roadmap. Is this, which project is this? This infrastructure. Yeah, this is a different project. Let's go programming network and Gloharski, thank you very much for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Let's create, okay, I have a bunch of stuff in progress. I need to go through this. I just came back to streaming after months and months. So let's say here, meetup to do, or meetup feature roadmap. And I'll just write some of these things down. Ah, shit. No, I don't want an issue, man. They kind of messed up a bit here. Let's just actually go over here, because I already had a huge list of things. So let's just add a horizontal rule here and say something like this. Fix conditional JSON schema inside. Let's just provide a path here so we don't forget. Sure. Then we have this notify. We'll actually do that now. Notify modal should close when clicking outside, aka use click outside hook. And then we'll kind of do that. Optimize the query inside a cron job, inside a worker. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what else. Let's just and then it seems there's a bunch of other stuff I wrote here, which is yeah, a lot of stuff to do. All right, cool. Okay, let me actually start here. So let's see, and we could use AI a bit for this. Let me see what's done here. So yeah, so this kind of is arbitrary, because I believe we have use click outside or whatever. So I think, yeah, I already have a hook for this that kind of works, right? Use on click outside. And it's kind of used like this. So we're gonna, okay. So let's get rid of this. Let's say const. So use on click outside. Pop over ref. All right, let's see, does that work? Should be kind of working. Yeah, it does. Is it hard to build website like Trustpilot, but for one niche? Yeah, actually, funny fact: the CTO, ex-CTO of Trustpilot and ex-CFO, it's my CTO past 5 years. So Ole, so maybe something to praise about. I mean, even though it has nothing to do with me, but my mentor scaled my mentor Ole, my CTO that I work with 5 years. He got basically Trustpilot to $1 billion company. Fun fact. So the Dream Data company where I work was founded by Ole and Lars while they were at Trustpilot. So they realized there that Trustpilot needed a similar product. They built it. So this logo here, Dream Data, that is the yes, Trustpilot is a very complex product. Mostly because of the backend services, because of the backend infrastructure. It's a lot of graph databases, a lot of MongoDB, a lot of data, because you cannot build a review site. So there's a lot of algorithms behind Trustpilot, because you have to validate, because Trustpilot's core value is reviews, and reviews, customers try to fake reviews, customers try to, so you need to build a system that ensures that the reviews that you're reading there are fundamentally correct, that it's not just a bunch of random people signed up and leaving the comments on their own product, right? Like I go to Trustpilot and I leave a review about Programmer Network. It is the most amazing network on earth, right? Of course, then Trustpilot's value would not be it wouldn't be a unicorn, it would be useless. So yes, it's hard. It's not hard to build a user interface. You can do that in one day, right? But building the whole infrastructure behind it that makes the review system worthy of your trust, that is hard, right? That is very hard. And yes. What is this crap here, man? A bit confused. Wait. One hour before. The fuck? What? Man, I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit confused, honestly. Like, where? What is this? What is this like? What the hell is this, man? So annoying. What the hell is that, dude? Have you tried Z Editor? It's pretty good. Honestly, no, I have not. I have not, mainly because I haven't faced any obstacles with the current tool I'm using, to be very frank with you. So it's more that, and changing the environment, changing the development environment is a massive investment of time and so yeah, so I don't necessarily I don't necessarily it would not be it would not be time well invested, if I can put it that way. No, but I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, I don't judge people who do that. I think it's okay. I mean, if it's just you know, there are so many things that one can do today for their own career, and I think I spoke about this many times, right? There's so many things each one of us can learn. It's like building products, right? It's like we all know we can build a lot. It's just building it at the right time and for the right reasons. So it's the same with doing some changes to your workflow or whatever. You know, productivity usually comes from places that has very little to do with your text editor or anything like that. Productivity is typically found in places that have very little to do with technical things, right? Languages or editors or whatever. Or to say the reasons why people aren't productive has very little to do with tools, if ever. Nobody was like, oh, I was using VS Code and I switched to Notepad and I suddenly became productive and I stopped procrastinating, right? Nobody ever said. Anyway, okay, so this is, I have no idea what's happening here. This is completely weird. I don't know where this crap is. I don't know what this is. It's so weird, man. I think honestly, one of the core differentiator of future of many individuals today and the future generations will be the ability to not drown oneself in endless content, right? I find this, I have two kids, right? And I worry for them, just like, I guess, maybe I'm a, how do you say it, a zoomer, I don't even know these terms anymore. But I think probably the main determinator of success in the future will be the focus point, right? Because there's so many things there's so many things you can choose to decide today in order to not do what you're actually supposed to, that it's insane, right? It's like so many options to waste time. Endless options to waste time. It's crazy. You know, I mean, when you look at these gamers on Twitch, right, they have thousands of viewers, right? Some bunch of dudes literally lay down at home and watch other people like play video games. That is absolutely incredible. It's not that you're like playing it yourself, you're watching others play it, which is even more absurd. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, if you can focus, I mean, you're already better than others. Better than many others. Bro, this is killing me. But I'll leave it for now. I just need to finish this feature, man. I really want to finish this feature. So, and there's so many things, man, for production things to be ready. There's so many things. Let me ask, actually, you AI, what this other checkbox? Where is this other smaller checkbox coming from? I may be losing my mind. I don't know. It's absolutely insane. But then we need to go full end-to-end and see what's left to complete this feature, because I want to use this for my streams, because some people have asked me about, hey, when do you stream? What is your schedule and stuff? And that's really what I want to start using it for my own stream, first and foremost. Event card, yes. Yeah, that's literally why I'm focusing on this, to be honest. That's literally why I'm focusing on this now. Literally what I'm doing. Yeah, well, you know. Gonna get organized myself a bit. Okay, I mean, that's fine. Let's see, did this guy actually found it? So it was this label, apparently, that was messing it up, I suppose. No, it's not. What the fuck, bro? Let's see, what did the AI say. When you wrap custom checkbox with already has its own element inside a label tag, the browser creates an implicit association that causes the native small checkbox. Remove the label wrapper on the and use div instead. Okay. That's kind of my ego feels incredibly hurt, but that's not it. No. Yeah, that's not it. I mean, ironically, right? I don't think it's that, but give it a shot. Let's see. Is this actually my core checkbox from our core URL library that we built? It is. Okay, so it should be fine, right? If we go to... Maybe AI is hallucinating. I mean, I think AI hallucinates as much as people do, right? So it also, I mean, building the whole social platform takes some cognitive, right? So, and also, yeah, we can see that, yeah, there's certain, I did a lot of work yesterday off stream. I didn't stream, but I did some other things, and I can see that I introduced some tiny regressions, which is expected because I refactored a lot, improved our core library code base in some, doesn't matter, not really improved it, but I made it easier linkable in the root project. So I had to do a bunch of stuff, but I saw now there that the checkbox itself is a little bit messed up. So we'll need to fix that now. Let's see, did it, anyway, not talking to myself a lot. No, yeah, dude, this is absolutely insane. I've never, Simplaren, hey, good evening. Thank you very much for tuning in and saying something. Man, like this is genuinely mind-blowing. I mean, I'm oh, okay, so our Yale, okay, so and maybe that's it. Yes, exactly. So you can see, yeah, it was in our core library. So if we go to if we go here and do like this, right? Let's give it a shot. I actually don't know, to be very frank with you. Do you have any experience with Angular? Yeah, I do have experience with Angular. I wrote Angular 1 maybe, what was it, 10-15 years ago, and then I did try every other version. Angular, I do have an opinion. So Angular is a full-fledged framework, right? So unlike React and unlike some other libraries, you could say, Angular is a highly opinionated, very pattern-based UI framework, very tempting to people coming from C# or people coming from more programming background than some other tools such as React, for example. Now, of course, is this better or worse? It's hard to define because it depends who you are. If you like dependency injection, modules, generics, various types of controllers, directives, etc., you might like it. It's a very boilerplate oriented. I mean, overall, personally, I respect Angular. I don't write it anymore for many years because I think React is. I choose tools which are easy, like more stupidly easy it is. I'm gonna be more prone of using it because I don't wanna fight the tools. I wanna build products, not code. So I don't actually care about the tool as long as it's easy enough. React is a tool that you can learn in 20 minutes. Like React itself, of course, now once you start adding more complexities to it, the routing, the stuff, things, of course, you need to. But React in isolation, just as React, is super, literally you can learn it in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because it's literally a function that returns some JSX, or it's a function that returns some JSON that's then, of course, compiled to JSX and blah, blah, but and then HTML. But of course, Angular gives you kind of more opinions out of the box. So that's why, so note that frameworks exist, not for the reasons that especially less experienced developers think. Frameworks exist because of business, because when you encapsulate certain types of developers into a framework and when you give them certain guidelines on how they do things, it's easier to hire people, it's easier to expand teams, it's easier to onboard people onto teams because, you know, okay, this type of developer knows this tool, and this tool has these rules, these idioms, if you may, these even axioms, if you will, if you want to be mathematical, right? But I think overall, I think Angular is great. It just depends who you are. For somebody who kind of sucks at programming, it might be a little bit more intimidating because it requires you to know a little bit more about patterns, about what is an event emitter, what is a dependency injection, what is a module, what is this and that, what is a generic function, what is polymorphism, and a bunch of other things, right? So and for example, this signal thing that you just mentioned, signals are just events. That's just an event emitter. That's actually, it's an observable, right? Which is, so if you want to learn signals, you of course need to learn what an observable is. Observable is a pattern as well. You have like reactjs or whatever, some of these. But observables are observables are a concept in programming which is agnostic of that thing, right? I hope that answer was accurate enough. Okay, great, super. Okay, so that was a regression there, and that's kind of now fixed. Now this also works. I can also see some other regressions with buttons and hovers. That kind of sucks ass, but I'll do that off stream. I have no intention doing that now because it's a boring, it's boring type of work that, yeah, I don't care much about right now. Okay, so let's actually edit this. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually going to programmer network. If you want to build a big SaaS app, yeah, don't say that. Please, that's very dangerous thing to say. That has nothing to do with the size of the app. There's no such thing as a small or a big app. That is not correct. No, I mean there's no correlation between tool and size of the app. That is cannot be further from the truth. Has nothing to do with that. Has absolutely, actually, quite contrary. If I would have to force myself to say such thing, it would be the opposite of what you wrote. There's no correlation between the tool and size of the project. Technology is not measured in lines of code or arbitrary size of views or components, right? React is a very different, has very different approach, very different opinion on how you build UIs, while the other thing has a very vastly different opinion on it as well. So there's no correlation between size of any sort. Facebook is using React, right? So saying if you want to, unless Facebook for you is a small app, then sure, and millions of other enterprise websites, right? But it's not. Raps, good evening, my friend. This is the official Programmer Networks meetup that's typically held as a live stream on Twitch and YouTube. In this meetup, we talk about many things, all the way from computer networking, infrastructure to full stack development, hiring, etc. Yeah, we're missing some stuff there. Published, save. And an error has occurred. Okay, beautiful. Cranberry, my friend, good evening. How are you doing? Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a lot more work, unfortunately, on this feature, because I just realized that we're gonna need a calendar, and then we're gonna need a recurring events, right? And obviously, working with calendars is very painful, and working with dates, it's painful as well due to different time zones and stuff. But that's what it. Let me actually just skim through very quickly. This has been made like in 2023. So as you can see, hasn't been much of the streaming done. So let me see what I wrote. Allow the organizer to upload event photos after the meetup ends. It should be a drag and drop zone where implement meetups feature and support both physical, blah blah blah. Ensure that errors are handled in the meetup forum. Show multiple images. Add this loading state. Extend the meetup type with a stream. All right. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Going back to this. So I mean, it's starting to look really nice. I don't dislike it, honestly. I can also see that there's a meetup group here. You can go back, but I think it would be nice. Yeah. So let's kind of utilize AI a bit, because this is not a very satisfying type of work for a stream. People, as far as I remember, people would much more like me to do infrastructure or backend and stuff. So I'm gonna say, can we add some back button with an icon so a user can get back to the meetup from the event, right? We already have all of these components and stuff, so this should be fairly simple, but I just need some sense of progress. So, you know, as we chit chat in the stream, it's also nice to get some work done as well. Hosted by myself, that's correct. And let's see, kind of, because my only worry now is that it's gonna smack a back button here, which I don't know where else would it do, but then it's gonna push the content down, right? So alrighty, what I wanted to do. Yeah, okay, so I think this is for the most part good. I'll off stream, I'll just fix some of these things. I mean, fix under quotes, they're not broken, just, yeah, they can be slightly improved. This is also okay. Okay, so let me just think through a bit like this. Yeah, okay, so user joins a meetup, and actually, fuck. Wait, give me a second. Back to programming network. Yeah, this is okay, I think, right? Yeah, this is kind of okay, even though I don't think it did it well. Give me a second. Back to... Nah, anchor. Yeah, no. That's not good. No. So AI kind of failed there a bit, I would say. Yeah, it did. Okay. Well, it doesn't actually matter. So what we're gonna do, instead of href, we're gonna override that with a onClick, and then we're gonna use navigate, the native navigate there. And that's weird. I see. Okay. So let's go to our anchor component, which is in our core library here. And we have tests written for it. No, well, I guess that's good in this case. And then I suppose, actually href is optional, so that's a bit weird. So this thing technically, Ah, okay, I see. It should be optional, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Maybe, yeah. Actually, no, this is also fine. Let's see what it does now. Yeah, but you can see, like, that. Yeah, that makes absolutely zero sense. Why is it doing that? That's so freaking dumb, man. So we did update this. Give me 1 second. Use local Yale. Yeah, that's set to true. We are aliasing this to the we're aliasing this path to this src. Wow, that is completely weird. Give me 1 second. Let me see if it's a build type of issue. So let's actually get over here. Let's do this, and let's say console log hey Joe. Okay. Yeah, so we are getting hey Joe, which is super strange. Okay, so why? Oh crap, dude. No, actually it's fine. href. So this is yeah. Yeah, so that's good. Should I restart the TS server maybe? But anyway, you can see a massive difference when we go back, right? Because now we're utilizing native HTML5 history API, which means that when you use an anchor, you're basically bypassing the whole internals of synthetic events in React and stuff like that. So you can see now a huge difference. I know it's silly, like why the hell is he wasting time with this? It's not a waste of time, right? And I can show you, right? So look at the difference now. If I don't use the navigate, right? You see when I click, the whole page refreshes, right? It's almost like it's a static site, and it's not, right? If we use the navigate, then the utilized HTML5 history API, it's very different. It's a lot more smooth. You can see how quickly it goes back. So never use href inside of your app. It's a massive failure. Okay, but either way, it's super weird. So it's almost like TypeScript server is failing, and this is actually build components like typography anchor. So it's most likely that yeah. Okay, so we're working with the dist. Let me try one thing. Let me try building this project. Building for production. Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right. All right, I think that was it, most likely. Yeah. So I actually, for some reason, had to build, so we could, in theory, just put this in some sort of a watch mode, right? Do this crap. Oh, fuck, or... Yeah, that's a little bit frustrating, I must admit. All right, well, fuck that. Let's just leave it. So that's fine. It's a warning. I'll fix this. I'm not gonna do it in the stream. So that's fine. I guess it's also weird that we are doing this. At least some of it. So let's just leave maybe what we have to, which is this. Oh, I see. I see. Well, and the only thing that's weird, like, why is our icon not dynamically loaded? Because I can see that we are... yeah, that's also kind of useless, isn't it? Is it arrow left solid? Yeah, that's kind of one of the downsides, because I don't have an enum for these dynamic lazy loaded imports. Either way, let's try this arrow left solid. Does that change anything? Yeah, so yeah, that's so weird. Icon. Arrow left outline. How does this... Smarty, my friend. Good. Okay, so this works. Good evening, my friend. How are you? Okay, so we can actually see that now. That's a bit weird, though. So I'm using this SVGR thing that where I generate my own icons, right? Crixel Dev, thank you very much for the follow, man. That's very kind of you. So as you can see, actually you don't see, but I can show you. So I'm using this SVGR CLI, right? And if you don't know what that is, essentially it's a little like a CLI tool, probably written in Webpack, in JavaScript or whatever, using Webpack and stuff, But essentially what you can do, you can provide it a raw set of SVG icons. As I do, I can show you that as well. And then it generates React components for you. So you can see here, if I go to my core UI library that we wrote inside this stream, so you can see we have a bunch of raw SVG icons. And then what we actually do is we generate TypeScript components out of each. So you run the SVG CLI tool, and then you can see it generates all of these kind of components for you. And then I have my own icon that lazy loads those, right? Because of course you don't want to load 1,000 icons in your build, right? You want to lazy load them, right? Load them on demand is basically, right? Why was I saying that? I have no idea, but there you go. I said it. I lost the thought, but I'm sure that what I wanted to say was very interesting. But yeah, it's gone. Okay. Fuck, why was I saying that? Because I was saying it out loud because I wanted to do something. What did I want to do? No, it works now. It works now. Oh, no, I know what I wanted to ask. Sorry. I was kind of talking to myself for a reason. So at one point in time, oh, I know. Okay, at one point in time, as you know, when you're building systems, when you're programming, it doesn't matter if you're programming an infrastructure, a Kubernetes, your a YAML file, a Docker Swarm, your UI component, your API, you always have to have some systematic principles on how you approach any things that you have to do multiple times. In this context, when it comes to icons, at one point in time, I've decided that every icon should have a prefix of icon, right? So icon something, icon something. As you can see here, that principle, actually, I don't know if you can see it from the camera, but you know, that principle held well for some time, it seems, until something happened. Maybe I just downloaded a bunch of other icons and then that principle was gone, right? So does this actually matter? No, not from a technical standpoint, but from a developer experience standpoint, it stands really well because, you know, now I was used to, you can see how icon arrow left. So because if you make things systematic, then you can logically assume that the right one would be called icon arrow right? So you can see that is the win. But it wasn't, right? The right one is called icon. What was it? Arrow right. So you see arrow right outline, and that sucks ass, right? So the principle is broken, and now I no longer trust the principle that I've invented. It's myself, right? Which is terrible, right? So you don't want to do this. Whatsoever, I'll leave it now because I don't want to be building icons now and waste your time in my own. But you can see some of these tiny, at first glance, irrelevant, useless things, it's like who cares how they're called, turn actually into a huge systematic problem because now, you know, we had icon arrow left, whatever, and now we have arrow left outline. So I don't like that. I don't like to build systems like that. They're not self-explanatory. But I'll fix that. I need to write a nodejs or some script in some language that's just gonna run through all of my SVGs. So essentially what we need to do really to fix that is fairly simple. Write a little script. It's gonna run through this folder of icons and then append icon in front any that, right? Also, it's hard to enforce it across. No, I mean, I'm a tech lead in my company, and these types of suggestions would always get an absolute yes, let's do it, right? So I think engineers are very smart people, one of the smartest, and I was fortunate for almost 20 years to work with you guys, if I may, and I think besides our egos and sometimes, you know, we can be assholes because we spend so much time thinking and then we often think that we know everything. Besides that little flaw that we have, I think you know, engineering is both super complex and super fascinating and simple depending how you look at it. Like if you can provide the reasoning behind your suggestions, it's very rare that you're going to get resistance, right? So of course, if you go to your team and say, let's switch to this language, and they ask you why, and you have no idea, you just said it because you watched a YouTube video and some asshole, some content creator said so, then of course you should not be doing that. But no, I think these types of things would be very easily enforced in a team. I actually hate to use word enforced. That seems a bit, but you know, embraced or accepted. I don't think that would be a problem. No, I think that would be fairly simple, because I think smart people, like, we are lazy, and because we're lazy, well, no. Actually, no. So actually, let me show you how easy that is. So let me show you that. Actually, it's a very good question. And I can show you the system that would prevent you to ever do that, even if you wanted to, right? So look, if I go to package.json here, right? Like, no, it's not that project, some other project. So if we take a look at this, build icons, right? I mean, you can do this in so many ways, but I can present you a way that works, right? So for example, let me present the most obvious way. What you can do is have a CI file. So let's say you have build icons.yaml, and this could be your Circle CI, GitHub Actions, Travis, whichever CI server. In this YAML file, I'm not gonna write actual YAML, I'm gonna write meta code just using natural language, human language. You could say, hey, CI, if you ever see a change inside a folder called SVGs, and if the file is missing icon prefix, so essentially read file names, append it, then run, run build icons, right? And that's it. You solve it, right? So no matter who, a person can go and type whatever file name there. So tools for this exist, and they always existed, and this is very easy to fix, right? This is one of many ways you can do it. Of course, for example, if you combine this with some pre-commit hook, like in the front-end world or in the JavaScript world, actually it's not JavaScript, it's agnostic of language, but you could use Husky, for example, right? And you could say that Husky is kind of like your local CI, right? So as soon as you commit something, your pre-commit hook runs. It runs the linting, the formatting. It can be 500 things, code quality, security, whatever. And then also it can say, oh, I can see you're trying to add a new icon. Let me append something to it, and then commit, right? Or fail. I mean, that depends on your what it is that you want. Right? So there's many ways you can do this. You can also create literally like a custom tsconfig validator or ESLint validator that can. So many ways you can do this. It's very, very easy. It's just you need to have the team that cares and that sticks to the principles that you agree on. Because without these principles, of course, your code is meaningless, right? Like you have to have some base level of how would I say it, respect and love for your work, right? Because of course, decisions are. Small or big decisions always are made in a compound way. So like sometimes you're going to say, oh, this is a small problem, let's not do it now. And this is kind of where quality degrades, is you make too many of these small, oh, it doesn't matter, in a compound way. When you combine all of these silly small decisions you made, you get one big pile of garbage eventually, because you keep piling up these small decisions, right? All right, cool story, bro. I know. All right, let's get back to this crap here. So this I actually like. I even like this little hover thing. Smarty, my pleasure, man. Thank you for asking. That's why I stream, so I can share my experience and I can learn, of course, from you guys. I'm far away from a know-it-all. Never gonna happen. More you know, less you know. It's crazy. More you know, less you know. How do you get out of burnout? Honestly, for me, it's my family, my wife and kids. The balance, I mean, it's a cliche thing to say. I know it's bullshit. It sounds, but it's not. I think in order to also by not streaming for a year, as I haven't, but jokes aside, also true, to be honest, like, but also I think you need to balance, right? I mean, you need to understand what's important in life. It's certainly not work. Work is work, and it's something that we enjoy, and if we are lucky, we can love it or whatever. But what truly matters is balance. Like, when you have balance, then you can't really, it's very hard to burn out. But if you put all of your eggs in life into one basket, then you're fucked. And I've seen this with many people who make their work or anything else, everything in life. Eventually they get deeply disappointed because they realize, like, oh, I put so much effort, and then well, you should have thought about it earlier. And of course, you need to go to gym, you need to be healthy, you need to train, you need to focus on your body, you need to, of course, I mean, you need to like, you know, in healthy body, healthy spirit, right? So you cannot truly be best version of yourself without both physical and mental exercise. That's impossible. You cannot be super obese willingly. Exceptions are those who have medical illnesses. Of course, I have massive empathy for that. But for people who are lazy, I have zero empathy. Zero. Because it has never been easier in history of humanity to be healthy. Like, there is gym. Every 50 meters is a gym, is a park. It's cheap. You just need to put 3 hours of effort, 3 hours a week into gym, and you're going to look amazing. You're going to feel amazing. It's really all that takes. Even once a week, you would see massive. Do you like sports? It's integral. Sports are integral if you have to go to gym. I mean, when I go to gym 3-4 times a week, and sometimes even 5, but I haven't done it now since I got a baby. We have a 3-month-old baby. But it's the best cure against anxiety, against so many things. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Even better, man. Even better. Even better. And I mean, you know, I had times in my life when I would get a bit fat and stuff. Of course, I'm not suggesting that it hasn't happened to me. It has. And then when you get back to shape, when you build up muscle, when you feel good in your body, it just matters, man. It's insane. It's crazy how much you like yourself more. And not to mention that your family likes you more, your wife, your partner, your kids. But you literally like yourself more. I swear to God. It's not bullshit. So yeah, all of these things are important. It's not a single, and that's why I say I recorded some videos on YouTube very, very long ago. And that's why I often say people seek for productivity tips in wrong places, in a very, very wrong. People often seek to optimize things, which is not why they're missing out on certain things, right? Oh, let me use a new Kanban board. Maybe I'm gonna stop procrastinating. Oh, let me switch to Vim. I might be more productive. Oh, no, man, you're optimizing the wrong thing. You're most likely optimizing the wrong thing. Your text editor is not gonna make you more productive. It's something else, right? Smadi, actually, I'm planning to continue doing those soon again. I actually enjoy them. It was kind of it was healthy for me. I would just bike a long way somewhere or run, put my like iPhone and this like microphone on top of it in my bag and just like, oh, this is a nice scenery. Let me record the video. That was pretty nice. But I just, yeah, it's a bit displeasing to be very frank with you because I don't have the time to be a content creator or to like compete with a YouTube algorithm. So I record a video and then it has like 1,000 views or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I must admit, I'm human as well. It's like, would I wish that it's been watched more? Yes, but to some degree, there's so much content out there that I kind of get it, right? There's so much people can watch. You know that. Bear with me. I just need to take a look at this Redux crap. It's been a long time since I looked at this, and I wrote this very long ago. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would lie. I would completely bullshit you if I said, you know, I often like maybe try to act too badass, and I'm like, yeah. But no, I mean, I care, right? I mean, if I record the video and you know, it's just like I see that it's, I don't know, like, you know, didn't get the attention that I maybe hoped for. Yeah, I you know, I do get like, fuck. You start doubting yourself. Even I might appear as somebody highly overconfident, but no, it kind of sucks. And you know, I genuinely do it. That's maybe why I get disappointed. I genuinely do it not to make money or anything like that, because I would never do this if it was about money, because this is a massive waste of time, obviously. I would just do other things beside my work, right? But yeah, you kind of, like, yeah, man, I know I want to help somebody, some new guy or whatever. And then you go to a guy licking spit from the toilet, you know, 5 billion views. And then you're like, you look at your own video, it's like 43 views. Like, yeah, you know. Just crazy stuff. Yeah, I know, Smarty. I mean, I'm like a robot, man. I know. I'm not at the most... I don't appear for sure as the most empathetic person, at least to people who don't know me. So that can throw many people off, right? And also, I mean, confirmation bias is popular in the world. I also understand that, right? So in a way, you know, you know, people often want to hear things because, you know, you just want to feel better that day about yourself or whatever. I don't know. Oh, actually, maybe we didn't even need this. Fuck. I'm sorry. I'm just talking crap and then I'm forgetting to do something. Okay, so what we're gonna actually do here is there like on click on this component badge. Yeah, I mean, we could have extended this with on click. Yeah, let's do that. On click. Oops, sorry. Let's go to the core library. Badge index. I think it's here, right? Yeah. Yeah, let's do on click. Sure. No. But let's make sure that we, in fact... Okay. Sure. Yeah. To be honest, yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's... I mean, could be. I don't know. But as long as Rebecca and few of you is showing up here that is all I need, to be very frank with you. So I'm using my own URL library. It's my own open source stuff that I built. You can actually find it here. It's open source, and you can also access Storybook here. So it's my own library. I wrote all of these components. Of course, my pleasure, man. Thank you for asking. Okay, I hate unless you're building some library and you have reasons for higher precedence of CSS rendering, don't use style ever. Okay, let's do this a little bit better. So let's say here const on click CSS classes. Nah, actually that's not what I wanted. I wanted to do an alert, just a native built-in alert. Batch core. Wait, is it this one? Am I looking at the right? No. Sorry, that's wrong. All right, cool. Let's take a look at it there. Badge, clickable, badge clicked. Okay, so that works. We should probably generate tests for some of these components. But the thing is, you know, there's to my defense, if you may, testing these types of pure functions in a way like this component is literally a pure function, given the same input always yields the same output. It's kind of meaningless. You could say that maybe not tests, but some sort of what they're called. I don't know, the thing that these testing tools generate. I don't remember the name, but snapshots. Yeah. Oh, actually, I do. I do have tests. Okay, so actually, whatever. Let's. Yeah. What can I say? Let's just then add another one, and actually I didn't even know we have tests for that, so well, cool. Okay, well, if we do, I only use Tailwind. I since day one, when CSS modules and all of that crap was invented, I said whoever came up with these idea is a complete moron. Like Tailwind CSS I've been writing CSS 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we've been writing CSS in a more or less same way as Tailwind does today. So Tailwind, in CSS, we have one most crucial important aspect, which is a class. And CSS, you could almost say it's almost object-oriented in a way, right? Because classes always, so when CSS was made, when initially people used it, the most natural way would be to say, to create classes like this, where you say something like this, right? Whatever. And then you use this padding small class, reuse it, and then you, in a compound way, you have 500 of these small utilities and that you can use to build very, close to the deterministic styles, right? So that's why Tailwind CSS is, there's nothing special about that thing. That's the most natural way that the community diverged. So believe it or not, there were many decisions in web world more than 20 years ago that were made that were so good, and then a bunch of idiots, because they could, started doing things not because they make sense, it's because they are fun. Let's just write CSS using JavaScript. Why not, right? And many of these things. So fundamentally, we need a reset. We need a reset of it's the same thing with this crap Next.js and all of this server-side rendering bullshit. We went for 20-something years from things such as WordPress, Joomla, PHP Engine, and a bunch of these server-side render tools to single-page apps tools so we can decouple, introduce some separation of concerns, and now again you have that trash like Next.js and all of these randomly glued, half opinionated, half random frameworks, which are of course very tempting for very early on programmers in their career because you can import this, put this thing in here, and it works. But as an idea, it's simply terrible, right? So I'm sure that the web is gonna go through another reset as we did very many years ago, and we're gonna just go back to some basics, right? And that is just it's necessary. Every 10, 15, 20 years, programmers need a reset to remove the idiocracy that was introduced recently. Yeah, that's just how it is. Okay, sorry for a little rant, but it's oftentimes just very crazy. The thing is, I mean, I don't think like I'm not when I evaluate technologies, right? It's very rare that I do it in the context of if it's easy or hard. Of course, that is always relative depending who you ask and whatever. It's more about the why, right? I mean, engineers across the world, agnostic of engineering industry, were the reason why they were called engineers and respected highly is because the why was a holy grail of every decision, right? Like every decision you make as an engineer, the first question you have to ask yourself and others, especially yourself if you're trying to suggest something, is why. And then, of course, following up with the value and stuff, right? So a lot of things that have been done in this industry past 10, 15 years have a very poor why, right? Sometimes there's actually no why at all. It's just it's cool, or it might make someone feel smart. But when you make technical decisions, you need to start always. I guess when you make any decisions in life, maybe not just technical, but here we're writing code, so we're talking about that in that context, right? And a lot of these tools that exist, they don't solve any problems that haven't been solved already better. They're just going from something that was awesome and simple to something that we have and something that we had many, many years ago, right? Because server-side rendering is not a new majestic thing. Server-side rendering was how the internet worked for 2 decades, right? C#, Visual Basic, PHP, etc., etc., etc. All of that has been, So if you install WordPress, that is server-side rendered, right? So yeah, that's just how it is. And thank you very much for your follows, guys. I appreciate that. Okay, so I just wanted to make this kind of everything in the social platform has to kind of be interconnected, right? So I needed to make sure this also takes us to the tags page. Yeah, this is actually, I don't know what happened here with this thing. That's massive. When I designed this library, okay, did I provide a class name here? I did. Okay, well, I guess we can reduce the size of that, maybe. I don't actually. Icon components, icon balloon. No one has written for this style. Let me see if this. Okay. What if I do this? Yeah. Then this is call to action component. Let's see. I've done all of this very, very long ago. I don't remember how I've done it. Sure. Oh, I see. So we have this width here. Yeah, okay. Oh, I see. So we have reached now one little issue with Tailwind, right? Which is overrides. So you can see here the default. So, and this is the result of the work I've done yesterday off stream. I had some time last night when my kids went to bed and stuff, and my wife, and I was just hacking on this library. And I used to have you know, in Tailwind CSS you can have this concept of a prefix, right? And that's what we used to have up until yesterday. So here, actually, if you take a look at what I've changed yesterday, if we take a look at the change log, I don't know how. Yeah, but either way, in Tailwind you can have like Tailwind prefix. I can show you in case you don't know. So no pref, and this is useful when you build libraries such as our own, right? So I don't actually know where it is, but you can see here, yeah, you can do this. That's what I had up until yesterday. And then here you put your prefix. You say this encoding. You say this is what we had. So you see I had this YL, but you can have banana as well, for example, right? So now if I would compile my CSS, sorry, my Tailwind, every single Tailwind class would have this prefix. So instead of P4, it would be banana P4, right? So, and this kind of safeguards you in a way because these classes become unique to your library because they have a prefix. Hence, this issue of overrides and merging is no longer a problem. But because last night I have removed this without realizing why I initially did it, I thought I was smart by neglecting my already decision that I made long ago. Obviously, I wasn't. So you can see now we need to use the important Hana Banana. Saksei, good evening, buddy. So, well, I mean, solution is the important. I mean, let's accept one fact. Let's just not pretend that we care about CSS performance, right? So I'm not gonna pretend there. So, but actually, that's it doesn't work. That's the problem. So let's see. Greetings as well to you. Good evening. So that is a bummer, right? So if we go to the implementation here, right? You can see we had this width of 14. If I remove that, actually, I don't know if we're sourcing now, but am I actually changing the source? Give me 1 second. Let me try writing something here. Yeah, this is the icon component. No, don't say that, man. I mean, yeah. Okay, MX Auto. Oh, no, never mind. It's this one, you can see. So if we actually remove both, I mean, I'm not fully confident, but I mean, honestly, I would have expected it so far to. Oh, I see. Let me just test this. Yeah, I don't know. Something else maybe got messed up. It's a bit weird. So if we have an icon component and the icon name, icon class name. Oh, I see. Ooh, yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. I mean, yeah, I see what's happening now. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit dumb, honestly. That's a bit dumb. That's a flaw in my design, right? Which, yeah, I mean, sure. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, we have to change that, right? Because the way that I like to compose these attributes, props, whatever you want to call them, right, is I think we should have Okay, actually, never mind. Let's not get it. But you see where I'm going with this. I mean, the interface of this, the contract, if you may, here, would have been better if we kind of nested it a bit, right? That is the implicit part of it. So we could have said here, for example, we could have had a contract that looked like this, icons. Then we could have had an, icon, and then we could have a button icon. And then these things would, exist within its own scopes, right? So I mean, when you think about props, when you think about attributes, because components are just functions, right? I mean, literally underneath. Then oftentimes, like, instead of having this super flat mixed bag of everything, you can kind of instead of passing primitive value, you can pass reference values, like in this case an object that then kind of encapsulates your attributes into something meaningful, right? Because you can see now icon component, button icon component, icon class name, right? So you could see that these could have been grouped together, right? But actually I don't care, so it's fine. Anyway, I mean, I do care actually very much, but I don't care now. That's what I do care about these types of things a lot, because again, it makes a huge difference in a system, huge difference. And actually, for some reason, I'm not getting the IntelliSense here. That's a bit weird. Okay, fuck that. I'm getting led astray. Okay, going back to this. Is this working? No, it's not. Okay. But I'll just chat to you guys and fix some of these tiny things, because I never anticipate that I'm gonna do much work in the stream. Anyway, I just found another bug, and you can see it's related to event propagation here. So you can see when I click on this link, because the event bubbles up, it kind of triggers another event, which is going into here, and that shouldn't be the case, right? So let's fix that. Yeah, I don't know where this is, so let's just globally search for this text and find it. So there has to be some cards here. So meetups header, and then I suppose we have the list here. Yes, meetup list. Okay, let's go there. Sure. Yeah, here. Okay. So we have the tags here. Blah 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 blah. On card click. Okay, so no. So it's here. So actually, the bug under quotes, if we can call it. I guess we can call it a bug, right? So let's go in there, in our core library, and we have to fix it there. So here, this card actually is quite a complex component, but I'm very happy with its outcome. Let me show you why. So you can see, this is my card, which I built in a very composable way. It has a lot of potential states. This is the skeleton. This is it has the feature tag, compact, without image, with external link. But you can see kind of it offers me with a lot of functionality, and that covers pretty much all the needs of the platform, right? So you can see we can have the footer of it. We can have the pills. We can have without image, with many pills, right? So that is the beauty of it. And now the bug that under quotes, bug that we need to fix is the fact that clicking on the tags should not bubble the event up. So if I search for tags, which is here, and then use tag visibility, show card tags. Yeah, you can see kind of it's very, very composed. Nav link, blah, blah, blah. If we go on tag click, so I guess this is where it is. Yeah, so on click, I suppose on tag click, give me the tag. So if we actually go back here, visible tag, yeah, and visible tags, exactly. So let's, just for the sake of just for the sake of debugging, let's put a console log here, and then if I click it, yeah, we got tag clicked, right? But you can see it did a wrong thing. It went to a wrong place. So I think, because I don't know if this nav link provides a synthetic event here on click handler, but I think it should be. It does. You can see this is like a wrapper around the native HTML event. So we can say E and then E dot prevent. Actually, no, E dot stop propagation. And I think this should in theory fix it. So if we go back here, now it takes us to the right place, right? So because we don't want this to propagate. So this is another bug in the library, if you may. And yeah, we have fixed it now. And then we can use here this under quotes new conditional operator, I guess. So, which means, you know, we're not going to get a short circuit. It's not going to explode if on tag click is not provided. Even though, to be very honest with you, I'm not a fan of that. Thank you very much, all of you, for your follows. I appreciate it. So yeah, this is fine, and it's cryptic, and it's all cool and all of that. But let's just say, let's just write it a bit cleaner. Let's say const handle tag click. And, let's say here, if no on tag click, always do the early return if you can. And then let's do this. And if you're wondering why do we have a why are we returning a function? Why is this this is technically a function closure now, right? We have a function that returns another function, so this is a function closure now. That's because we are passing the tag itself and then returning a function handler itself, right? So this is actually a bit cryptic with the lambda functions, right? But if this was a named function, it would look like function whatever foo, and then that function would return a new function, basically like this, right? So that's kind of what we're doing here. But we will do this cryptic thing because we can appear smarter to each other. Okay, cool. Is it worth? Yeah, I mean, sure. It's just again, premature optimization is in this context. We can, because it's gonna memoize. I mean, maybe. Keep in mind, memoization is again, caching of things. Caching has consequences, right? So, and I'm not gonna get very philosophical about this, but it's a very interesting discussion. I think mainly because when you optimize one thing, you pay the price somewhere else. Memoization obviously uses more memory, right? So in this specific context, you have to evaluate. Again, actually, either of the solutions in this context are meaningless because the cost of this operation is non-existent. But actually, in this context, I would say it's literally better not to use callback than to use it, right? Primarily because you have to ask yourself, am I willing to spend more memory doing this, or more, under quotes, time or processing or whatever, right? So in this context, yeah, you're right. If we wrap this in a callback, then for every input that doesn't change, we're gonna always call the same function. So we're gonna create a hash table, an object of tag name or whatever to the function call, right? But if you memorize absolutely everything, you're gonna hover over your app, and then you're gonna realize your app is using 800 megabytes. And then some reasonable, smart, and intellectual says, how the hell can a website use more megabytes than a freaking video game? It can. Various reasons. Memory leaks, and also trying to optimize wrong parts of the app, right? So I know it's memoization is a concept that a lot of front-enders talk about, but it's not always the way forward, right? You have to just ask yourself sometimes, what am I willing to sacrifice now? More memory or more n of something, depending what it is, right? Either function, the time that it takes to run the function, or whatever else, right? Okay, cool. So we've actually fixed that now, and we'll need to deploy this. Actually, you know what? Let's see what are the changes that we made in the library, because I think we should already Let's run the test. Okay, cool. Okay, let's see what we've done. So we created a new story there. We extended this component with that. Card tags, we kind of added this. Cool. Inputs checkbox. Yeah, we fixed the regression there. I think before I deploy this to npm, we kind of actually I saw one more thing on our dashboard that that was also a regression from last night when I was actually they were shit. It's kind of too many things that are wrong. Okay, I need to fix that. I'm sorry. And I think I saw that one under yeah, also this got messed up. What is this? Okay. Yeah, this event and daytime. What is this input? I also this was very painful. I think that's not my component. I mean, this is my wrapper over some library, because these date pickers are, let's just say, absolutely terrible to work with. So I didn't want to build the whole date experience from scratch. That's literally a project itself. So I used this thing called this, and it was, I have to say, very, very painful. I had to do a lot of overrides and stuff to make it look how I want it. As you can see here yourself. But then I don't know why I actually, let me just copy these custom CSS properties, and then hopefully AI will realize what am I willing to do. And I don't remember why this has been done like this, to be very frank. Why I haven't used the actual variables from the get-go. Okay, I think we skipped a couple of them. But yeah, maybe, yeah, I think we skipped a few of them. So let's color border, sure. Yes. Is there anything else? No, I think that's it. Okay, so that's kinda, yeah. You can see, man, it's so many details if you want to make things a real product, like super awesome. And I can see now that we have some. Yeah, okay, that doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not gonna die over that hill, you can say now, but let's, yeah, okay, that's good. So let's update that, and then what else did we see? So that was one thing, that regression from last night, and then I just, and actually this is fine. This is not gonna look like this. Let me go to production. Oh, my dear Johan is here. Nice. Dashboard. Your interests. Thank you very much, guys, for your follows. Okay, let's actually go to profile. Yeah, so this thing. Let's give this to AI. I mean, I have to. Yeah, can we ensure that these inputs take full width? In my opinion, date pickers are terrible to work with. I had to manage vacations and schedules with date pickers and calendars. Yeah, I mean, I think the date concept in the browser is very difficult, right? In the backend, it's a lot easier. In the browser, it's hard because you have time zone offsets, you have UTC, you have different time formats, you have local time. So fundamentally. Why is this farting out? So there's it's just inherently a difficult problem. It's hard. Nobody has solved it, right? Online, you have things such as looks-on, you have date FNS, right? These are attempts to solve the browser date and time, right? And I think emphasis is on attempts. Luxon, in my opinion, this library is built by Moment.js team. For those of you who've been building on the web for long enough, Moment.js used to be the king. Then they deprecated it because it has been built in a very non-modern JS way, and now they have built Luxon. This is what I mostly use when I do web, when I'm coding web. And I mostly use it because of this. This is called Fluent API concept. If you don't know the concept, Fluent API, or method chaining API, is a pattern where where each one of the functions basically returns the context, so you can chain them like this. So now and then this and then this and then this, right? So this is what I typically use because it's very declarative, and it's method chaining, aka yeah. Fluent API. And then there's this guy as well, which has certain features which are nice, but overall it's still very, very painful. It's very painful. Okay, well, for some reason AI is hating me now. Let's try to give it a screenshot. Can we ensure that these inputs are of proper width? Have you tried nodejs? Yes, I have used nodejs in the current company for a couple of years, and we removed it. What can I tell you about it that's going to be meaningful for you? Nodejs was nice. I mean, I have nothing specific to say about it. It just lacked certain things. So, for example, it lacked declarative relative dates. So, for example, let me show you an example. Imagine that you wanted to have an. I think you're gonna kind of get me if I draw it, because one picture, 1,000 words, right? So let's just open one of the existing ones. It doesn't matter, right? So imagine that you wanted to have an input that has, like, Jesus Christ, man. What is happening? Okay, imagine you wanted to have a date input that has, like, last day, yesterday, last 3 months. You get where I'm going, like last 3 months, right? For example, with Luxon, which is what I just showed you, you can do this very easily because they have a super beautiful interface, like contracts for this, right? With nodejs, they don't. For example, this is one of the, but for example, if we go here, for example, they have days method, right? So wait, let me try to. I've never used their documentation. Yeah. So for example, you can see this is a very declarative, fluent method chaining interface, right? So you say before, and then you say something, and then or after, whatever. So in simple words, you get. It's very hard to think in timestamps, in UTCs, in offsets, in milliseconds, seconds, blah blah, right? Well, it's better. It's similar. Yes, it's similar, but it's better. So yes, so nodejs has some concepts of it, but it's missing a lot of stuff related to time zones and stuff. So, but no matter, I worked with time and date in C#, in PHP, in C++, in C, in Pascal, in many languages. Regardless of the language, you know, working with time and date and time zones and offsets and day savings is incredibly hard problem. It's hard not in a sense of technicalities, it's hard to conceptualize, especially when you have to build a product that is, from the UX perspective, making sense in different time zones. So the best solution that I found to that is to try to find the library, regardless of the language, a language agnostic, that enables you to think in as humanly way possible, meaning in a very declarative way, right? So what basically the best attempt you can have at it is to not need to use things like human beings don't think through milliseconds or seconds, or we think in relative dates, like tomorrow I'm gonna go out, over the weekend I'm gonna go and buy myself a new video game. You're not thinking in 7,600,000 trillion whatever microseconds I'm gonna do this, right? So that's why when I choose some of these libraries for manipulation of dates and time, I that's where I landed. I landed with Luxon, and then there was date FNS. And you can find the exact same examples in any other language. Most languages suck at doing this. I wrote C++ with a standard template library as well, and Go and blah blah blah. This is a hard problem, and the browser makes it even harder, because browser has, there are multiple browsers, they implement certain things differently, etc., 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 right? Exactly, Blunder. Exactly. I mean, it's a very hard problem, and honestly, if I have to handpick things that I failed in my career the most at, that is date and time, because it's just hard. I mean, exactly. I mean, think about it this way: people use proxies, right? People have something like this. Some guy has his BIOS literally out of sync. Some people are in the plane now, or in the airport, and then in 6 hours from that moment, they're in a different time zone, right? So I mean, the issues, like I also can tell you, not thousands, that would be a massive over exaggeration, but I can probably give you tens of different also issues I faced with the customers in various companies where I worked, where these times, even 5 minutes sometimes, you have some data warehouse like Snowflake, BigQuery, whatever, and a user queries something in the dashboards and some data is not shown in the dashboard. It's like, yeah, why is it not shown? And then you go and you see, oh, okay, this was in UTC, this was in local time, there was an offset, +2, +4, plus this, plus that, whatever. I don't even want to think about it. It's not fun. It's not fun for sure. For sure. Why is this? What is this? Is this cursor? Yeah. Why is it failing with AI? Yeah, man. It's hard. It's hard. Why is this editor of mine farting out here? Okay. For sure. And I'm sorry to hear that you're still using Jira. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, let's fix it manually. It doesn't really matter. Okay, well, we can see one thing here for sure, and that is that this doesn't work properly. Because if it did, this wouldn't have been shown as such, because it seems that I did, in fact, write this properly initially, it seems to me at least. Oh, this is not it. Okay, I see. Social platforms. Actually, I'm building a very good tool, a fully end-to-end encrypted, not encrypted at rest, encrypted locally on your machine. It's called SoloNest, and I'm actually looking forward to show it to you guys soon. But I'm building a full end-to-end encrypted kind of to-do app for individuals, but encrypted not at rest, which is useless. It's encrypted on your machine and then stored and stuff. We're probably going to do some of that in this stream in the upcoming weeks, because I need to finish it. And unlike Programmer Network that I'm building out of passion, and the stream, the SoloNest is something I want to try and sell and make some money on. So the way we're going to build these two things is going to be vastly different. That project is ship, fail, fast, fail fast, and this one is let's take all the time in the world we need to make things look perfect. So note that what I'm showing you in this stream with this project, you don't want to do nearly anything I've done here. So if you want to make money and you want to build a startup and attempt to get to raise some angel investor money, whatever, this is not the case, right? You don't want to build all of your libraries as I did, your UI library, your validation library. That's like shooting yourself in the head immediately. But the other thing we're gonna build vastly different, because I built actually 80% already of it, and there we're gonna use all the tools, AI, and everything we can to ship it fast, right? So, and by the way, thank you very much, all of you, for your follows. I just see it a bit too late. Okay, so this is the issue, right? And this is another component of ours. Okay, let's. That is slightly weird, to be honest with you. Like, why did I turn this into a core component is unclear, but who knows? I mean, you know, I built this entire platform in a stream answering 5,000 questions, so there can be various reasons. Story, yeah, but let's go and fix it. It doesn't matter. Or so if we go here, yeah. So. That's interesting. Okay, that is interesting that it works there. Wow. Okay. So okay. So yes, I mean you look at it and it's great. That's how it should be, right? Maybe. But then if we go here, wow. Okay, is it because of the grid? Is it because of this? I don't know. I just writing this for my sanity for the sanity reasons. Okay, wow, that is interesting. That is interesting for sure. I would not expect this behavior, to be honest with you. So let's see what it is. What do we have? Constants. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think, as I always say, I do believe that I try to write as clean code as it possibly literally can be, because I care about it deeply, because I'm building this platform as a very, very long-term project. So again, if you build things in a compound way well, over time you're going to save mass amount of time, and vice versa. You can of course ship fast and fail fast, but I've been past 2 decades in I mean, all of my career is startups, and you know, you really have these two ways. As a startup, yes, you have to ship fast, but then you spend always a couple of years refactoring, you know, and stuff. And then this is something we have fun with, and something we want to build long term. So I will take the time to make sure that it's good, right? At least. Okay, let's see what the hell is happening here. So we have a grid. Maybe this is the problem. Maybe should this really be a grid? Let's actually nuke this and see what happens. Okay. Okay, so let's maybe make it a flex. Yeah. Nah, not the call. No. Flex, sure. Flex grow, or what was it? Was it flex grow? No. Flex 1. Oh, I see. Yeah, sure. Okay. I see. Okay. All right. Wow. That is not what I wanted, but sure. Just want to try something very quickly here. Nah, that didn't like that. Okay. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. Or do I? I don't know. Smarty man, thank you very much for being here, dude. Good night to you, and let's see each other the next time when I stream. I see. Okay, let me, just for the sake of not introducing any side effects that we're not aware of, let's just do that there very quickly. And then let's see what's happening here. So we have a grid. And then I suppose that the way that my inputs, the way that I built him, yeah, the wrapper, sure, okay. Well, I don't know. I don't remember, honestly. Getting... Could we say here, yeah, sure, yeah, something like this, right? I think maybe that would be better. And then where is this thing? Item center? Nah. Item end. And then if we take a look at mobile, okay, that obviously sucks very much. Yes, let's fix that. So obviously, so flex. Actually, MD, so we're gonna say flex call MD flex row, right? Exactly. Cool, and then we have a hint here. Get the value hint if the platform is website, the URL of your website. Yeah, so essentially, I guess when I did this hint essentially is the URL of your website, include the protocol HTTP or HTTPS, sure. And then we have if it's get value label handle. Okay, I see. Okay, so that was reasonable when I did it. So, and I think it's still reasonable. So we'll leave it. And then, yeah, this I suppose you could say is another thing we should update here in our core input. And that is most likely in our input header. I have a hint top, can be written as top px. Okay, I did not know that, so I guess this is what they're saying, sure. But then we have a gap issue here, I suppose. Gap should be bigger. Gap should be bigger, sure. Give me 2 seconds. Cool. Okay, great. I mean, that is reasonable, I would say. I think doesn't look bad. This, I mean, position of this tooltip could be questioned, and the color relative to the contrast, I think, is yeah, maybe actually something we can, like, while we're at it, look at. What do we have? React tooltip. We have, why am I manually casting? I hate that. Why are we doing that? Let's not do that. What is this? Top 9. Okay, huh. Okay. Yeah, that I would prefer. Sure. So if the text is string, use it. If it's a number, to string. I mean, sure. Yeah. I prefer the getter function like this, even though this is going to be implicitly coerced anyway. I don't understand why is it necessary, but anyway. Okay, BG background as border prime. The class border prime can be written as border prime. Oh, I see. So it seems that I've been smacking these things in a wrong order. So let's fix that. Wow. Okay. That is super weird. Border prime, and why do we need these important flags? Let's see that. Let's see about that soon. Z index, shadow MD. And then we should probably, yeah, as I'm going through this crap, the URL, okay, that seems slightly better. Wait, BG rows, let me just see if this actually has any effect. Yeah, I don't actually know, to be honest with you. Wait, let's see. So if I go back here, tooltip place, right? Is there a place bottom here? Or actually maybe it's more appropriate for it to be here. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's leave it like that. Honestly, I don't think that... and then we can deploy this to npm soon, but I don't think this works. Yeah, I don't think that does anything. That's a little bit concerning. So let's go ahead and read the docs of this thing. React tooltip. No, it's a wrong project. Was it package JSON? This 530. So documentation for that is here. Using anchored data, screw that. Clickable tooltip styling. Okay. Oh, I see. All right. RT. Okay. I mean, yeah. I think this plays well with what we have. I think. I mean, yeah, sure. I think that I can live with that. We can probably just leave here like a React tooltip thing. That is probably more efficient also than, let's see. Is this our thing? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think. Actually, I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Because I think this has actually worked. Yeah, but go there. Huh, interesting. Okay, sure, okay. I mean, I'll certainly remove this. I mean, at least I will remove this thing. Actually, yeah, I'll do this. I'll go here. I'll do this and see if AI can actually figure out what it is that I want to do here. But either way, let's see. Hi world. Let's use some blue color, like 175CA1, for example, if I remember, it was blue. All right. React tool color primary. I actually don't know, but let me leave it like this. I suppose. Ooh, yeah, we also have to. Give me a second. I forgot about that. That kind of sucks. Tip tap. This is one of the most important things. Selected node. Okay, actually, no, that's fine. Okay. Okay, never mind. Okay, that is fine, I guess. All right, I'm gonna go now and deploy this. Actually, what I will do here whatsoever, I will revert this because, to be very frank with you, I'm not absolutely sure of that, and I don't want to introduce more regression. So I'll just assume that when I did it, I understood it, and unlike now, I had the reasons. Okay, cool. Let's deploy this to npm now. Louis GUI. So we need to bump the version. These are all the changes we've done. I'll actually get rid of that. Also get rid of this. Yeah, that I can have, sure. Tooltip. I'll just review my code. So I don't trust myself too much. Sure. Snapshots. I mean, you know, one thing we could do still could be maybe generate more tests or something like that. For this guy, maybe it's fine for now. Yeah, fuck it. Okay, inputs. Yeah, okay, maybe it's fine for now. All right, so let's. Actually, I don't care. I'm the only one working on this, so. Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. Maybe the formatting will fail. I suppose I would expect it to fail now. I think we didn't run the pm format, so this is just our pre-commit hooks running. Yeah, exactly. So we don't fail in CI. It's better to fail locally than push something and then realize you pushed the wrong thing. So let's make sure we don't get there. Okay. Well, let's try committing that again. What is this? Okay, ESLint passed, TypeScript passed, formatting passed. Let's see if we messed up some tests or if that's passing as well. That's passing as well. Let's see if we can build it. And then we deploy it to the web. All right, cool. I think we're good. Is there any warnings or anything to pay attention to? I don't think so. I think we are the good. Yeah, there's so many of these icons. Luckily, as you can see, they're very small and they're loaded on demand dynamically, basically lazy loaded, but there's like, I don't know, a few hundreds or thousands of them. Okay, so let's push it, and we need to create a new tag to trigger our CI, so it can in fact deploy it to npm. So we're gonna create a new tag as always, and then we're gonna push to that tag, and then we will go to our GitHub, go to my profile, I'll go to virtual organization programming network, I'll go to Yale, I'll go to actions. What's harder, developing an app or handling all the legal stuff one has to organize when publishing? If you're referring to SOC, SOC 2, ISO certifications and stuff like that, if you're referring to these things, I went with few startups through that, also the existing startup where I work, and just in case, Yo-Yo, if that's what you mean, I don't think it's hard, it's just a lot of work. Like, you have to do, there's different types of certifications that your company has to fulfill. That also depends on what type of company. For example, the startup that I work at is business-to-business startup. We hold a lot of data. We also have something called Dream Data Analytics, which is like Segment and Google Analytics and stuff. We have our own script. So there's a lot of legal implications there, and which means that we, for example, SOC 2 is mandatory for us. But typically you have a legal team for that, and you also have a security team for that. So for example, you have platforms like Vanta, not Vanta.js. You have security platforms like Vanta. This is what we use at Dream Data. But you also have similar platforms to this. You have like you have OneTrust. You have a bunch of these platforms where you actually deal with security. So for example, my security team So, for example, Vanta is one of the products where you configure all of your repositories, all of your rules and compliance things. There's terminologies for this. I don't want to bombard you with this, but fundamentally, yeah, it's you must do these things. And of course, like GDPR and all of these things, some of the rules are just very vague and very undefined. So there's a lot of there's a lot of room to wiggle in there and to do it this way. So it's also important not to take some of these certifications too seriously, because there's so many things you could. So for example, like, let me show you one arbitrary thing where some of these certifications, compliance certification fails. If I go to any of my repositories and I go to security, right? Like, if you have Vanta configured, these, for example, dependent bot security issues are reported in Vanta, right? And you know what you can do? You, instead of fixing this, you can click the issue, you can dismiss an alert like this, and then you can say risk is tolerable to this project. And Vanta is going to mark it as complete. You understand what I mean? So from the standpoint of legality, etc., 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 it's a little bit ridiculous because this doesn't benefit the user. So in simple words, many issues you will fix because you want to fix them, because they're, and some of those that you don't want to fix, you come here, you say dismiss alert, this is not blah blah blah, you click dismiss, and then in Vanta in the dashboard you would just get it complete, right? So there's a bunch of ridiculousness there that makes no sense. Matty, my friend, resubscribe for 36 months. Oh my god, you crazy dude. Thank you, buddy. Hello, and why is the origin or cross-origin course allowed to be anonymous? Does the origin have to be? I would say Samaria, that most servers out of the box enforce course, right? But note that course is a browser feature, right? So course is a browser feature, basically, not the backend feature per se, right? So, but I would say that majority of seriously taught, well taught through frameworks or or backend libraries or whatever you want to call them, they do have some good defaults, right? But research like course is something that it's a tool, right? Course is not a risk or a positive or a negative thing. Course is a tool that you decide as a developer how you want to configure, right? Sometimes you want your API to be hit by this, sometimes by that, sometimes by everybody. Sometimes you're building a public API and you actually want to allow access from everybody, right? So it's a tool, right? So that's basically what course is about, right? Okay. Did we deploy this to npm? Is it deployed? I think it is. Let's go to npm JS Yale. 2 minutes ago. Yes, we did. Okay, that's perfect. Let's install it in our front-end project. pmi. Thank you very much for the follow, man. To be very honest with you, I'm not like an expert in course protocol, if I may call it like that. Which actually, I don't want to say something that's wrong. Is course a protocol? Okay, good. So I was right. That just wasn't. Yeah. I don't know the spec, right? We can. I mean, the thing, I know that this sounds crazy. I'm not that big of a nerd. It's gonna to some of you, but this is the way. Many years ago, we used to do this. So, for example, around 15 to 20 years ago, what we did a lot was we would read the JavaScript language specification, right? So this is the official specification of the language, right? So we would come here and learn all the basics, all the low-level things about JavaScript. Like a lot of younger generation maybe today doesn't know about this, but this is a great resource to understand the language. So it's the same with the cross-origin research. Like there's typically very good specs this, but you would have to spend. I mean, if in case you care really about low-level details of why something is. And to be very honest with you, I don't know it on a low level enough to answer like some more complex questions. But if you are to need that, then of course you could today before. Please summarize course in one word exactly. No, but I think today these specs are even more important because of AI. Because today you can actually open this up and you can give it to AI. Actually, I haven't tried that. I used to read these manually myself, nerding and sweating and stuff, but I can't actually, to be honest, this is a very, very small spec. Typically, these specifications are a lot bigger. And actually, if you ever did the embedded programming in like C or very low-level languages like C or even assembly, this is what your job would be for the most part. If you want to program a CPU, if you want to write a GPU drivers, if you want to write CPU drivers, BIOS, whatever, your job half of the time sometimes is opening up an Intel manual script for this PCB or whatever, and then reading like your life depends on it, right? I'm sorry, but yeah, anyway, I can't unfortunately tell you more. I don't know myself. Yeah. My pleasure, of course. Okay, so we can see hopefully. Okay, let me see what I have in the UI here now. Yeah, I mean that we can nuke, sure. Let me just review this. I want to also push some more code. I enjoyed this stream. Obviously, amount of work I do in the stream when I stream and when I don't stream, it's 1 to million. When I don't stream, in these 2-3 hours, I would have done probably 400 more things, but then I wouldn't have spoken to you guys. So okay. What? Oh, never mind. That's good. Okay, that's actually no, it's fine. Is it? Did I actually? Is this even mobile friendly? Did I even wait? I mean, I'm not actually worried about that at all. Yeah, it is, but ooh, all right, that kind of sucks. Oh, I see. Okay, let's just, as I randomly comes to my mind, PB, sure. Back to programmer network stream. Okay, I mean, to my defense, the amount of effort I put in that is very low. So you could say results are not terrible, I would say. I think that yeah, so I'll brush this up more for mobile, but it's not like if I look at it, I'm not like disgusted or anything like that, completely at least. Maybe a little bit disgusted, but we'll fix that. Okay, actually don't care much about that. Okay. Then here we used our own hook. We removed this manually written code. We removed the reference because it's not needed there. We kind of fixed that stuff. This I will, yeah, I can. The biggest problem with this and this is where we need a spec, for example. This is where we need a spec. So if we actually go to AJV, and is there like, do they have some sort of a spec? Because you see, they have this format URI, which means a lot of things. Right? URI resolver. Shit, man. AJVs, no, JSON spec, JSON schema spec. Yes, I think this is the official spec that majority of open source libraries consume. References, can we search for like format, URI? Yes. I think this one and this one maybe. Yeah, exactly. So you can see, for example, this is an interesting thing to show to some of you that you might not know. But you can see, like, when you stumble upon things like this, again, this has nothing to do with web development. This applies to every single and every single technology out there uses JSON validation to some degree, at least. You're gonna do it in Golang, in C++, in whatever. You can see when you read this format URI, that's not very clear what it is it, right? Because, I mean, I know it has something to do with URLs, but you can see URI is a universal resource identifier according to something, right? Now, if we click on RFC here, this is the spec of, this is the RFC 3986, so this is the version of this RFC, right? Super nerdy, I know, who cares? But here is where we can get an understanding of when we say, hey, this event URL is of this format, what actually falls under that format. So what it is that it is, right? Now, of course, we don't have to read the whole spec. That would take us a year. But you can see here that at least we have an example, and it says the following example URIs illustrates several URI schemas and variations of the common syntax components. So this would fall under the valid format URI of our own under this specific version that we just saw, which is 3986. It's arbitrary. It's just some dudes in some committee somewhere chose that for whatever reason. So at least we can see here, okay, so these are the things that we would treat as a URI. And as you can see, I'm kind of wrong, right? I'm kind of wrong because these are not the types of the URLs I actually want to write, because we have URI and we have URL, right? So anyway, either way, I'm nerding out so much. Let's just leave that as is, but at least you can kind of get some idea. Big Blaster, hey buddy, good to see you, man. Okay, I need to... Okay, maybe for those of you who don't know, actually, this is interesting. Just hear me out. So, if you... Like, you can see how we have a bunch of open source libraries, right? That... you can see how we have a bunch of open source libraries we wrote, and we kind of use them interchangeably in our projects. But locally, we have to be able to use the source code. In simple words, not need to rebuild them or compile them or interpret them in any way, so we can use them. And this is maybe useful without a doubt. If you're ever building a UI of any sort, you will fall into this thing at one point, and you will need to solve it. So as you can see here, what I do is, as you can see, using Vita, we have this resolver, and then we have these aliases, right? What we're saying here, we're saying, hey, when something in my code requests a file with this path, instead of resolving that path from whatever the path is, something in node modules, actually resolve this path. And as you can see, this path is the another repository one level up relative to this project. And this enables us to actually, as soon as I save our own core UI library, our open source library, we propagates in the main project because we're working with source files, right? So you can see this gibberish here that looks gibberish, right? Means that this dedupe essentially means, because both repositories depend on these libraries, you know, deduplicate them. So it's using the ones from the core library itself, right? So that's kind of what's happening. So this gibberish here basically essentially means, hey, you know, use the local version of the library, not the not the remote version, which is in our case on npm, right? Okay, cool. And what I'm gonna do, yeah, so you can see I just hard coded true here, but this is also gonna be process.tnb, use local Yale. And in fact, if I go to package.json of this core frontend of ours, of course, you can see we can also run our development server just saying pnpm dev with local AJV, with local Yale. These are AJV. This is a library I wrote. It's called use AJV form. And it's the library I wrote for all the form validation for programmer networks. So essentially, if you can see, it's a very simple library, and I built it so I can, in isomorphic way, or in simple human words, I can reuse the schemas from my backend and schemas from my frontend as the same schemas. So because my Fastify backend is using AJV, so is my frontend. So my frontend now can consume the schemas from the backend. That's why I built it, because that doesn't exist. It has worked out a lot, and then we also use it to Dream Data because my colleagues loved the library a lot, and they're like, "Man, let's also use it." I was proud. I'm like, "Yash, let's use it." All right. Well, I mean, yeah. Can I commit through this tool through cursor? Yeah, the cursor. Let's try. I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, cool. Let's go to Cloudflare pages. Yeah, cool. All right, let's. I think I'm gonna do the same, Matt. Let me just switch to the camera. So I think I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna, of course, see if you guys have anything that you want to ask before I leave. But yeah, I have to go to work tomorrow as well, and my wife and kids are already off as well. So let's see if there's anybody that needs an advice or something that I can help with before I head off. Otherwise, we see each other soon. All right. Well, Gabman, you too. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. It's been super fun. Likewise, Yo-Yo. Thank you very much for the questions, for interactions, and it's always fun when people talk and say things. I always enjoy these types of streams because I'm not just talking to myself. So thank you. You asked the question. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. Let me just answer that one. Sorry, I didn't see it. I'm trying to do learning projects, but I find nowadays I just keep vibe coding and watching YouTube. Is that bad? Any tips? Any tips? I'm trying to learn projects, but find nowadays I just keep vibe coding and watching YouTube. Is that bad? Any tips? I think to be very honest with you, Big Blaster, mean, to be very honest with you, I just need to construct a sentence before I need to aggregate my thoughts before I can tell you something meaningful. But when it comes to learning new things, right, it's very hard to learn things without a concrete outcome planned up front. So it's, in simple words, like if you wake up one day and say, I want to learn to use a jigsaw, I mean, or let me rephrase, if you wake up one day and say, I want to learn anything, learning anything is, of course, always better than learning nothing. Like, it's very rare that you can learn something in life, something new that's not useful. The problem is, though, is that there's so many things that we can learn every day that you have to learn something that... Let me show you one thing. I think this is going to answer your question. So if I go here, give me 1 second. Wait, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna... So if I go to this K3S guide that I wrote, this is my own home. This is my own home data center that I built, right? I'll just shamelessly advertise it again. You can see what I wrote here, Big Blaster. I said, what I've learned over the last 2 decades of my career is that if you're wondering whether you need something, you probably don't, right? These things usually come naturally as a result of the problems you encounter. The problem itself often guides you to the right tools, just like this one. So in this context, I'm talking about Kubernetes and other things. And I'm saying, hey, if you are wondering if you need Kubernetes, for example, you probably don't. So it's the same in your example. I mean, you can't just do projects, right? That is not a plan of any kind, right? Because you need to define, you need to almost interview yourself, right? So use AI to interview yourself on certain things and see, and see what are the skills that you need today or short term, right? And of course, when I say short term, I also mean that also depends on your circumstances. So for example, if you are unemployed and you desperately need a job, then you need to invest into skills that you need now to move yourself away from that situation. If you're really well off and you're keeping up with the skills that you need and you're upskilling regularly, then you can just build random shit, right? But you cannot just do projects. I mean, what does that even mean, right? What projects? Why are you doing them? What is the outcome? What are you trying to learn? That's too broad, right? So you need to define what it is that you actually need to learn. And we all know that we suck at something. So for example, I wish that I'm better at SQL. I can write SQL and I can do it okay. I can do it probably as good as an average guy. But I, for instance, wish that I'm an expert at SQL, because I think personally that SQL is probably one of the most valuable skills today to have, and in the future as well, because of big data, because of AI, because of all of the data warehouses and stuff, for instance. So I know exactly, if I now started doing some advanced SQL, Postgres, MySQL concepts, I would know why am I doing that, right? So you also need some clarity for yourself, like what it is that you are not good at. If you suck at CSS, then focus on building CSS layouts. If you suck at security, right, then try playing with that. But you need a better plan than just saying I'm building projects, right? Not Yuzi, hey buddy, how you doing? It's been a long time. So this is kind of the only thing I can tell you, right? Unfortunately, I don't have some sort of a grand response to that. Besides, you need a better plan. You need a better plan. I need $1 million. Exactly, man. Exactly. Kirill, my friend. Hey, how you doing, dude? So happy to see you. You too, Big Blaster. You too, Kirill. I'm so happy to see you, man. Yeah, man. I started streaming again. I started streaming again like 3-4 days ago, and I missed it a lot. So to be honest, Kirill, it's on pause. You know, we had a new baby. I had a new child. I had a second child 3 months ago. So past year has been wife pregnant, and then now we are 4, so we get a 4th member. So how often are you streaming? Genos, I haven't streamed in like 8 months. I just came back like 3-4 days ago. But so essentially, you guys will soon know more about my streaming, because I will also make some plan. And that is also why I am building now the meetup part of the, like, that's why we've been doing this meetups, just FYI, feature, because I will use programmer network meetups for my own stream. So number one, I can convey to people when I'm streaming, and 2, I hope that people will be more open to also sign up on programmer.network for that reason as well, so they can, you know, say, okay, I signed up, whatever. So just FYI. So it is a bit of shameless advertising as well. And thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your nice wishes. Congrats. Hard to believe, a young, energetic. I mean, I'm not that young, man. I'm 37 almost. So I'm not that young. I'm in 3 years I'll be 40. So I'm not that young. Yeah. I wish I was, but I mean, of course, everything is relative, right? Am I young relative to somebody who's 70? I mean, yeah, sure. But I try. I keep trying. 42 is the answer. Yeah. Actually, you know, not Yuzi. You know that I worked in a company called Grid 42. Let me show you. So a couple of years ago, I worked at a company called Grid 42. Here it is. Let me show you. And you know what they gave me as a gift? Here it is. Exactly where you're getting your reference from. So I had to read this when I joined. So the 42. Yep. It was a interesting place to work at, for sure. I can tell you that. Very cool nerds. I worked with like 5 guys who were 60 plus, and they were just pure nerds. That was awesome to see, man. They didn't give a tiny crap about anything. So yeah. But Genos and everybody, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much again. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I'm gonna have to. I gotta go now. It's almost midnight here, and I have to go to work tomorrow. And yeah, that's it. What can I say? Thank you again. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow, maybe after tomorrow. I'll do my best. You never know with the kids and stuff, but for sure. And Kirill, please do. Just for those of you who don't know, Kirill used to work with me in this platform. He joined by his own will, of course, and he built part of notification system and stuff. So Kirill is a brilliant guy, young, brilliant fella, truly. So I would be super happy to see you, Kirill. All right, good night, everybody, and I'll see you guys another time. Okay.